Hey, hello, I'm Kråkan, also known as Corvus Cornix, and welcome to Yacc, yet another Crowcast where I pick a game I played for a week and then I talk about it. This week's game is Machinarium for the PlayStation 4. It was released in 2016, developed by Anamita Design and also published by them. And also there will be spoilers up ahead, just so you know, but first a little backstory. So I actually got this game for PC as a gift, like a birthday present. And the same guy that got me the game, I lended it to his then girlfriend, and then they broke up and I never got the game back. So I was browsing PSN and I found this game and I was like, yeah, I want to play this again. So as you start up the game, you're prompted to select a language and then you can select a new game. So this is like a splash screen thing where there's a wasteland in the background and also a mechanical city, and there are these small robots that if you hover over them with the pointer, they fly around, which is just nice. Everything is hand drawn, it looks really cool. So when the game really starts, you are a little broken robot that's dropped down at the junkyard and you're supposed to rebuild him or yourself. So since you're broken, you can't go very far, you can just interact with things that are near you. And it's kind of a cool junkyard because it's like, as I said before, everything is hand-drawn and there are a lot of robotic and rusty parts, and it's just that feel. It's a nice feel to the game. So the main plot of the game, you're Josef, this little robot that's looking for his kidnapped girlfriend, Berta. And there's this gang called the Black Cap Brotherhood, which are more or less bullies and bad robots, and you are to stop their schemes as well. So in every screen there's like a little puzzle that you have to solve to more or less progress to the next one. So if you can't figure out the puzzles, you can, like in the right corner there is like a light bulb, and if you hover or click on that, Josef will get a little speech bubble where he thinks of the solution and where he needs to go. You can also play a little mini game where you guide a key through a brick-like structure, and you can also fire with this key. You fire at spiders, and at the end of the mini game you get to a keyhole, and that keyhole unlocks a really cool hand-drawn book where you get the solution to the puzzles, and everything is hand-drawn like if they were sketched on paper. So there's a lot of care that went into the art design of this game, and I just love it. So back to the junkyard puzzle. So you're supposed to get a doll that's on a higher ledge. You extend the body of Josef by pressing triangle or the right stick. If you push the right stick up, he goes up, and if you press down, it kind of squishes himself, if that makes sense. So you grab this doll that's on this ledge and you give it to a little tiny robot, and he gives you back your legs. So now you can move freely around this screen at least. So the main puzzle to this is to cross a little puddle of water or oil. So in order to do this, you need to grab a magnet, or the magnet kind of sticks to him and he kind of eats it. So this is the brilliant thing about the game. Josef stores everything that he picks up inside of him. So he just eats the magnet, and he does the same thing with some wire or string. He just slurp it up like it's like pasta or something like spaghetti. And then you combine the magnet and the wire, and you push like a metal pole, and you kind of make like a swing with it, so you can swing over the puddle of water or oil. So the next part of the puzzle, or the next screen I should say, is getting entry to the robotic city itself, and like a police guard goes in front of you, and the whole key to the puzzle is you're not going to be let in as you are. You need to look like a police. So you need to grab a traffic cone and you need to dye it to light blue color. So this is a little bit, it's gonna be hard for me to explain, but there's like a white bucket of paint and you need to put in some blue dye into it to make it light blue, and then you can put it on your head more or less. And then there's another solution. You need to get a light bulb for the top of your cone hat, so you have to climb up a pole, or it's like a street light, and you use the end of use it as a ladder. So you take the kind of the strut that's underneath you in order to progress higher up, and once you reach and get the lamp, you put it on your makeshift hat, and you extend yourself and you call the guard to lower the bridge. And since when Josef is extended, he has bad balance and he moves very slowly, so he goes across this bridge, but at the end of the bridge there's an oil slick and he falls down. So the screen underneath this one is a Minecraft or minecart puzzle, I should say. So it's really weird to explain, but there are these holes in the wall which you need to interact with a mechanic that's under like a small silo, and you're supposed to dial in the correct number for Josef to climb up on the thing and reach like a shiv, which is part of like tilting over a cart to get the wheels. It's a little bit convoluted. There's like a staircase that you have to go up, and you need to put on a metal piece that's missing so you can interact with the lever. And once you push down the like a new mine cart down the tracks and you position the shiv at the right place, the cart will fall over and you will position yourself on top of the wheels and you will activate the lever and you will go down into the next screen. But there's another thing about this game. It tells the story. If Josef for some reason is idle for a long time, he starts to think about Berta or other things that happened to him. So that's the way that this game tells a story. It's a visual form of storytelling, which is brilliant because it doesn't have any language. If you choose like Russian or Italian or whatever language, it doesn't speak that language. It's like body language and stuff, and everything is done through speech bubbles. And another funny thing where if you combine something in the inventory inside of Josef, there will be if it doesn't combine, he just shakes his head violently like no. So there's some small kind of funny animations when he's idle as well. So the next screen is inside of a furnace, it's a puzzle related to that. So now you encounter one of the bad guys, a fat robot with glasses, and he actually has a black cap. And I didn't know why I made the connection before. They're called the Black Cap Brotherhood for a reason. They all wear black caps, like burglar caps. So he, the bad guy, eats these things that are inside the minecart, and then he crawls into not like a steel drum, but like a pipe. And the whole puzzle here is to reverse the machine in order to get into that pipe, because if it goes one way, it actually goes into the furnace. So this is where I first got stuck this week, because the puzzle wasn't that obvious. And there was actually, I think I soft locked myself, because there's like a platform atop that you have to get up and you have to switch wires. So what I did was I switched one of the wires but not the other one. You're supposed to cross them over in a certain way, and I didn't, so I couldn't progress. And there's like a crane that picks you up and rotates, and it wouldn't pick me up again, so I have to restart the game. But it wasn't that big of a deal, because when you know the puzzle, you can easily get back to where you were. It's just this game has a weird logic. It's not like a good example would probably like Sork or something. And I thought about this throughout the week, because Sork has this thing where it's just text-based, and you leave the things in your room and you pick up stuff. So if it's like a text that says there is a cake on the table, you can eat the cake, you can pick up the cake and whatever. And what I'm getting with this is there's the same kind of method used, where you think about a puzzle throughout the day and you think, yes, maybe this will work. And when you get home and you try it and it works, it's a nice feeling. So I just figured out the puzzle. I was like, yeah, this is how I'm going to do it. And I managed to get into the next area. And also there's another thing I forget to talk about, but you get like a speech bubble as well for the bad fat guy with the glasses here, the robot I mean, where he was basically a bully at first before he became part of this gang. He just broke like Josef's sandcastle and just an overall bad guy. So once you end up at the other side of the pipe, you're immediately captured by the entirety of the Black Cap gang brotherhood, and you're put into a cell where there's a robot that wants a cigar or a cigarette. So what you do is, there's a toilet in the room for some reason, I don't know. I don't think robots needs to go to the bathroom, but there is a toilet. So you take some toilet paper and you take there's like some gooey thing on like a pipe. You take that goo and you put it on a lamp to fry it up. I guess it's like tobacco now or whatever, and you roll it up and give it to him, and you get his arm. You actually shake his hand and then the arm gets loose. So you use the arm in order to reach into another room to grab a broom. And you use this broom and combine it with a wing nut so you can open up a panel or like a manhole in the ground to get down into like the sewer section and move on forward. And once you go down through that pipe, you will end up in underneath another room with one of the bad guys sitting on the table. He's actually leaning on his chair. And this is one of the more cryptical puzzles, in my opinion. You're supposed to make him fall over while he's tilting, and he has this gun which he fires at like a dartboard. So you're supposed to trip his like chair, and you're supposed to grab all the bullets that he has on his table. So he moves up to the dartboard to pick out the bullets that are launched into that. And you're supposed to grab his key, and then you're supposed to put some of the bullets on the floor so you will slip on them while you are supposed to interact with what do you call it, like the prison cells. So you open up one of the prison cells to let some other guys out, so he will actually run after them instead of you. It's a bit cryptic, but once you solve the little mini puzzle, like the key flying game, you will figure everything out. So once you dealt with that puzzle, you can enter the cell blocks himself, and there you will find a digital dial. And it looks like a watch, and that's exactly what it is. So if you go back into the previous room where you were at, there's like a telescope, and you can look up and you see the bad guys are supposed to put a bomb on the spire for some reason. And if you turn off the light switch, you will see the correct time that you would need to put in the digital watch on the an actual watch. So once you get into that room and you punch in the correct time, you will enter and you will get a new puzzle to a safe. And this is a color code puzzle that I am, as I said a million times, I'm really bad at puzzles, but you need to combine the correct color to be inside, and there's another color that needs to be on the outside. And I just managed to do it by dumb luck. I don't know how I did it, but I did it. And inside the safe, there's a gun, which you will need in the upcoming area. There's also a thing you need to do. In one of the cells, you need to pick up a plunger, and that's supposed to be in the gun. And I couldn't figure that out, so I had to look it up online. I'm not ashamed to do so, or that I did, because it wasn't visible at all. It's in the roof of the ceiling in one of the cells. So in the next area outside, there is a crane puzzle. So you need to go to the left to one of the screens, and you're supposed to there's a lift puzzle to a crane where you basically, there are a couple of arrows. The arrows that are pointing upwards needs to get all the way to the top, and those that are down needs to go all the way down. So there's like a thing where you have to move one thing to move the other, and you can only move one square at a time. And it's a bit tricky, but I figured it out. And then you get control of the crane, and then you can lift a box to get access to another control device that moves. I think it's an oil refine or like refill unit. You're supposed to lure out a dog because it's so weird to explain these puzzles, but there's an old lady or old robot lady that has an umbrella, and she won't give the umbrella away, and that's the way to progress. You need to get the umbrella, so you need to get her dog. So you lure the dog out with the oil dispensing unit, and then you use the plunger gun to reel in the dog and give it to the lady. And then she gives you her umbrella, and then you can move through there's a broken pipe where water is going down. And because you're a robot, you don't want to get rusty, so you need the umbrella. Once you progress, you get it to the up like, what do you call it, like the citadel part of the robotic city. And there are a lot more things to go through here. There's like a church area where you need to adjust the clock to get the right symbols to appear for people to move into the church and get items to progress. There's also on the lower area of this inner citadel city, there is a band that needs instruments. So one of them has like a saxophone, and he needs the kind of buttons, I guess you call them. They're all gone. And another one needs like a voice box or something, and another one you just need a pair of drums. You solve these puzzles as well. And then there's an old lady, and I couldn't figure this puzzle out, but you're supposed to get oil. So you go back to where you fell down the first place, with like the watch guard tower, and you get like a can of oil there. You just let the oil drip down into the can. And once the old robot lady gets that, she wants some other type of oil, but I couldn't figure that out. And there's also a mini game where you have to beat a robot in tic-tac-toe. And I swear this game is impossible. You're supposed to get like 4 straight, nuts, I guess. Josef chooses, and the other one chooses something else. But I couldn't figure that out. I'm not good with puzzles and games, and I don't know. But that's where I ended it this week. I never beaten this game, but I'm not ashamed to say so as well, but I had fun playing it. And that's how it's supposed to be. So gameplay. Help the little robot Josef save his kidnapped girlfriend and stop the Black Op Brotherhood. Control, the left stick moves the cursor around, and you can move around Josef as well by clicking. The X button interacts with things, and the square button is the inventory, and triangle rises or lowers Josef's extensions. That also works with the right stick. The circle is back on the menu, and option is pause button, and L and R zoom. I never used it, but you can do that. Graphics. So the PC version used Adobe Flash, and later moved on to DirectX. So everything in this game is hand-drawn by a man called Adolf Lenschmann, and it's just pure awesome illustration. And one of the things he did, he was such a pedantic kind of guy when he was drawing, so they said well, you're not going to draw with your dominant hand, you're going to use your left hand in this case. And the art style turned out to be a little weird, but it just fits the scene, everything looks a little bit off, but I like the art style. It's kind of like it's almost like it's organic. Sound and music. FlowX made the soundtrack for this game. He also made a soundtrack for another game that I played called Papetura. So the soundtrack is on YouTube and Spotify, and I highly recommend it. It's an awesome soundtrack. And another thing about the sound banks of the game, everything was recorded in-house by a guy called Pef. So it's everything that is recorded, nothing is like taken from an asset or anything like that. Everything was made in-house. Easter eggs, secrets, and glitches. So there's an area where you need to draw out a symbol. I think it's like in an elevated area. And the symbol that you draw out looks like the logo for Watch Dogs, this hacker game. And I'm not sure if it's like pure coincidence, but it looks exactly like that one. I also watch a YouTube short where Josef grabs like a toilet paper roll and he hangs out like through a hole at the bottom of a structure and he just starts swinging. And I'm not sure, but it's the title of the video was like a Secrets of Machinarium, and it doesn't really show any secrets, but it's probably an Easter egg of some kind. So in conclusion, I wrote, yes, play it. It's a visual treat. I love the art style, I love the music, and I love how it's all presented. The only negative thing I can say about the game is that I'm not very good at puzzles, as I said like a million times, and it's really hard for me to figure these things out. They're not always logical, and it's not always like, even if you get the clue on what to do, it's not obvious at times what you need to do. And I already made the Zork reference, but it's like when you figure out the puzzle and you think about it all day and you're just like, yes, maybe if I try this and it will work, and it does, it feels amazing. So I can absolutely recommend this game. It's really good, and I think it's relatively cheap as well on PSN at the moment, so go grab it. So anyway, thanks for listening and or watching, and take care.